selected. So I spoke to my brother that I just got selected, and he was like, no way, man, you got to take that opportunity. And I was like, okay, well, let me run it past dad first because I want to see, what he thinks about it. And my father is very encouraging. He knows that I'm passionate and I love what I do. So I told him about it, and he said, you'd be stupid if you didn't take that opportunity. Obviously, I was gonna say yes. There was no way around it. So, but it was just important for me to have my dad's approval because his opinion means everything. So, yeah.
For the past month, Beats has been living in Toronto, connecting with mentors and colleagues, getting career guidance and performance opportunities, pouring his all into the art form that he says saved his life.
I've always heard music, especially hip hop music. My brother Sean, they've always played, hip hop music, so I was always familiar. It all came down to, I think, in like 2000, 2001 when Dr. Dre released his album. That was the pinnacle of like falling in love. Decipher everything okay, that kick sounds really good, that snare sounds amazing, I wonder where that sample came from. I was always so intrigued by music, especially hip-hop music, because it truly changed my life, because as a young teenager I was sent away. I experimented with drugs, alcohol. At that time I was just very out of control. I couldn't be controlled by my parents. I wouldn't listen. There was no getting through to me. It was just I was out of control. I was just bottom line out of control. And it was to a point where my parents couldn't take it no more. So they had to do not what they had to do, but what had to be done. And yeah, it landed me in a group home for a couple years, and it was a tough couple years of my life. In that time, I had really nobody. I had no one to turn to. So what I did is I started writing poetry, and I started writing just stuff for myself because I had no one to speak to. And I treated writing as my therapist, and it really helped me. That's what I needed, and that's what gave me hope. So it's been my life since that time. So I think about it that kid that was suffering in silence would be so proud of the man that I am today, and the journey that I've been on to become who I am today. It's a beautiful thing.
So before this residency came knocking, what was life like at home for you?
Well, for the past I'd say 5-6 years was probably the toughest, my life. And literally I was at rock bottom in a mental state. I kind of pushed everybody away and really secluded myself to just me. So it was really tough and dark times in my life. That's why a lot of people, especially my family, are proud of me today, because they never thought they'd see, the bright side of it all.
Where was music for you then?
Music didn't exist for me. I didn't care. So I didn't make music for 3 years.
It makes this picture that much more special because you described this period of the last few years, the lowest you've been in your life, and yet just at the beginning of this year you found yourself in a place where you were like, this is it, this is my year, things are gonna happen. What do you credit for that shift?
When I took this picture, it was when my life was starting to come around. I think the shift for me was just finding love within myself, being proud of who I am and the gift that I possess, and just being confident and having belief in myself. So that's where that all comes from.
That's a beautiful place to be in when an opportunity finally comes, We started this conversation, you were sort of reflecting on how much you feel like you've changed. What are you noticing in yourself in the past month of this residency that's so different?
Something that I always had trouble with was just taking a leap of faith. And now I feel like I'm genuinely in a place where I can finally bet on myself. Because I know what I have is good. And I know the talent I possess is something to be proud of, and I'm blessed to be able to do what I do. I'm just not scared to be myself. We're gonna look back on this interview next year, and again, we've manifested this. Watch what's gonna happen. You know, this is gonna be the biggest project of my entire life, and it's probably gonna change my life. You know, because what I see for myself is big things, and I don't know. I don't know. I can't put it into words, but I can tell you, this next project that I'm gonna make is gonna change my life. And quote me on that.
Yeah.
Quote me on that. This next album's gonna change my life.
Listen, I know the power of when you speak something into truth. So, just in a couple years when we run this interview back, tell your people to grant us permission to access.
Of course, and we're definitely gonna run this back. I promise you that.
I like it.
I promise that.
Beats isn't quite ready to release the music he's been working on, but to tide us over until then, you can hear him with his award-winning group City Natives. This is their song, For the Rest.
This is Now or Never. I'm Trevor Deneen.
And I am Ifi Chiwetewu, and today we're hearing from people who are shooting their shot, doing something so outside their comfort zone, you might think they're doomed to fail, but they are doing it anyway.
Again, folks, if you just arrived into the lounge, we're going to Los Angeles.
Like Ben Shannon and his daughter Sumile Watanabe Shannon. They're currently sitting in the Toronto airport about to fly to Los Angeles to compete in, well, if I told you, you might think I'm making it up. So here's Ben.
I have always loved to whistle since I was little, and now my daughter and I are going to a whistling competition.
My name is Sumile, and I'm 9 years old, and I like to whistle a lot.
She's not kidding. Her sister can't whistle, and her sister is often saying, like, stop it! But yeah, I whistle all the time. My dad whistled, and I just was like, oh, it seems like a fun thing to do. And it's more casual, right? Like, can't really sing it in public because that's drawing a lot of attention to yourself. But somebody can casually walk by you whistling, and it doesn't seem that odd.
Casual whistling, I understand. I mean, I can't do it, but I can understand it. But a whistling competition, I am going to need someone to say more things.
Well, I will be that person because Ben and Sumile have been invited to the Masters of Musical Whistling International Festival and Competition in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, the MWIFC.
Oh, yeah, you've heard of it.
No, I haven't.
Well, let me tell you, the people involved take it very seriously, which was a surprise for Ben.
When I entered it, we were just kind of doing it as like a fun joke, and honestly, I thought that the competition was not serious. I thought that it was like a bit like everybody gets a prize. I kind of assumed it was going to be online. Like, I didn't know that it was in person, so we did our auditions because I thought this would be fun and would be a cool confidence builder for her, because and like she'll get to see that like this is a thing that is impressive. And so we got accepted, and then they're like, okay, great, competition's in California. And we're like, wait, what? but thankfully we had a lot of air miles from being at home for 3 years. So I figured, why not? It only happens once, and it'll definitely be a story for her to tell. But yeah, it is a bit like just being a friend with your kid instead of being a parent. And it's a fun connection, right? Where we can even out, like she can come up to my level and I can get down to her level and we can goof around together.
We'll be introducing Mr. Ben to the crowd.
Mr. Ben, all right, that's me. Up until now, I wasn't sure if this whistling competition would be legit or not. But talking to Carol, the lady who's like one of the judges, and she was like very serious. She said, "You are obviously a casual whistler, and you need to practice." I suddenly realized, like, oh yeah, this is like a serious deal. That they take whistling very seriously, and they don't want us to make a mockery of it. They want it to be respected as an art form, and her main thing was practice, and so I have. so that we are taking it much more seriously than we originally thought.
Like before I go to sleep, I practice with my dad. It seems fun, but I'm scared too. Because I'm going to be watched by a lot of other people.
You can close your eyes, you won't even see them.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be as many people as came to see your school play.
really?
Yeah. And there was